I think it's so important to recognize the seasons that we find ourselves in. There's a season for rest, a season for processing, for healing, for mourning. And if those are things that you are going through and, really recent that you're still going through, I want you to give yourself permission and allow yourself the grace and time to move through it gently and be kind to yourself and remove the expectation that you need to be at a certain point in a certain time. There's no need to push yourself when you're in those spaces. And it is really important that you just allow yourself to, heal and grieve and do whatever you need to do. And seasons of healing are important and necessary. And if we allow them to, behind the scenes in our lives, they can forge things in us, refine us, and grow us in ways that we didn't even know we needed, things that we couldn't even try to do intentionally ourselves. And as you allow yourself that space, and that timing will be different for everyone, what I've experienced is that there comes this inner knowing deep, deep down when it's time to make a shift, when it's time to step out, when it's time to make a choice to move forward. So I mentioned a season of burnout and depression that began with some wounding and rejection, and what felt like the longest season of a dark night of the soul. I felt like I was in a bottomless pit with no way out. And all mixed into that season were so many fears: fear of getting hurt, rejected again, fear that I would be judged, fear that I wouldn't ever measure up or be good enough for myself or others, fear that I would never have what it takes to live a full life, and on and on and on. It was all rooted in fear. But after living in that space for about 3 years, I just couldn't take it anymore. I believe that every journey to move through fear begins with a choice. If we feel stuck in fear, we can choose to get unstuck, to move beyond it. And what that looks like will be as unique to each of us as we are. It doesn't have to be extreme. I think it's super important to be gentle with ourselves, but also important to stretch ourselves a little bit. The very simple mantra for my life back then became better today than yesterday. If I can just do one simple thing today that makes me a little better than I was yesterday, then that's enough. I do want to tackle the idea that we have to make these huge leaps forward and just get over our fears. In my experience, me personally, that doesn't work. Focus on one thing, do it consistently, and then that starts to increase your capacity to do more. It stretches you to get out of your comfort zone, and with each step, your confidence grows and your capacity increases. You have power over fear. You don't have to be paralyzed by it. You can make little tiny steps. It's not like you'll never feel it again. It's not like you won't have anxiety or depressive thoughts, but when you do have it, as we all do, I love the fact that you don't have to stay powerless against it. You can actually do something about it and move beyond it. It doesn't have to continue holding you back.